I have a lot of OCD habits. I don't know if it's full blown proper medical OCD. I don't think so. I'm not like Adrian Monk over here. I don't need to like touch every lamppost I go by, and I don't have that many weird little quirks. But there are certain things, like sometimes I like for things to be at a nice angle on a desk, right? I like for curtains and furniture to be symmetrical. And there are pros and cons to it. Cons, I do have a certain amount of natural kind of germophobia, and have for a long time, going back to even when I was a child, even when I was like pre 10 years old. Not necessarily the kind of a germophobia that we were effectively legally enforced. It was basically illegal not to have for much of the last 2.5 years. Government enforced germophobia, not just kind of a natural inclination toward possibly excessive hand washing. And I don't say this like something I've conquered, by the way, either. It still applies absolutely to this day, probably within the last hour. I'll, every single time I got to wash my hands, not just if I, take a shit or whatever, even if I touch the floor, or do something like that, or take out the trash, I gotta get under every nail, scrub every fingertip under hot water, a lot of antibacterial soap. It's a whole thing, just kind of in my mind. Even as I do it, I know it's probably gratuitous and silly, but I find myself doing it anyway. So it's not necessarily great, but there are upsides to it. Stuff rarely ends up on the floor for long at my place. I might, have a shirt draped over the back of a chair or something like that. But some people have issues with, dirty dishes piling up. Never a thing for me. I am right on that immediately. I never, maybe like there might be like a plate and a fork in the sink overnight sometimes, but usually not even that. Usually that's if I'm like, too tired to get to it or something, not if I just don't feel like it. But yeah, usually dishes get taken care of right away for me. But probably the way that my OCD about cleanliness is the worst is in my kind of oral hygiene OCD, and that I admit I am probably in the top. I was going to say top 1 or 2. Really, it is probably top 1% of the I'm probably in the 99th percentile of the population of that. I have a whole kind of a morning routine I have to do every morning. And when I say every morning, I do mean 365 mornings a year, 366 if it's a leap year. It's a whole process. I start with the tongue scraper. I do that a few times over. And then probably there is some degree of kind of natural halitosis I'm trying to counteract here, but then I'll do at least 1 round of the mouthwash, the Cool Mint mouthwash, the Cool Mint Listerine. Sometimes, usually 2 actually. One just kind of tiny little few drops. That's the initial spritz, right? Then the proper mouthwashing. Then I gotta get the Crest toothpaste. I gotta get it, the big blob, and I gotta do about 4 minutes. I got to do all of the top fronts, right? And I don't like time it on a timer or anything, but I would say it takes about a minute. Then I got to do the bottom, same, right? Then I got to do the same on the insides for another about a minute each, the inside top, the inside bottom. And then that's only half the process. Then I got to re-toothpaste the toothbrush, and I got to thoroughly sanitize my tongue. It's a whole process that takes a couple minutes in itself. All the sides towards the back, so I'm practically gagging on the toothbrush all along the front. It's a whole deal. And then usually I'll have some Trident mint gum after that to kind of lock in the freshness, right? And then I'll finally get to my breakfast and whatnot. And then it's still not over. Then I'll usually re-toothbrush, re-tongue brush after. Oh, and roof of the mouth brush after breakfast. So it's a whole thing. It's very annoying. If I can't do it exactly the way I like to do it, it drives me fucking mental. Like, literally, I cannot focus on anything else all day except for my dirty mouth. So that's why I haven't been camping in years and years and years and years and years, because I need my sink and toothbrush and Listerine and clean running water available first thing in the morning. I don't like to stay at other people's houses unless I can have free reign in the bathroom for a little while to do my whole process, right? Because it's way too embarrassing to do it in front of anyone else. So yeah, it's a whole thing. The biggest pro of having this fixation is it does result in naturally very clean teeth. Just this year, I had to go to the dentist for the first time in I think since about 2008. I think about 14 years to get a crown put in, because one of my teeth was formed. It had kind of a cupping situation on the top of one of my molars, so I had to go get a few shots in my gums and get a little crown put on. Not pleasant, but I know you probably just cringed and groaned in disgust at hearing there's been about 14 years since I've been to the dentist, between dentist trips. And even the dentist himself, when he asked, I think I even lied. I think I cut things down by about half. He's says, when have you last been to the dentist? And I said, 7 or 8 years, which is complete bullshit. Total lie. It's been a lot longer than that. But wait for it. When the dentist took a look at my teeth, took a nervous look at my teeth, wondering what horrors lay within my 7 years, by his point of view, mouth that had not been examined by a professional. He seemed relatively impressed. I was told right away, your teeth are extremely clean, and they fucking should be. I'm obsessive about it. He said your teeth are very clean, no cavities. I've made it 37 years into life now. I have never had a single cavity, not one. Never, ever, never, no cavities. And other than the little tooth cupping going on one of my molars, teeth perfect condition. So that is the most notable pro of my oral hygiene crazy fixation, is that very, very clean teeth with very few issues, even over long periods of time. Some people have the Swiss cheese teeth if they eat candy or drink soda. No problem at all for me. I don't have any issues there. Teeth they're spick and span. Cons of the crazy oral hygiene OCD. The second biggest one would be the one I just mentioned, about how I kind of need to be, if not at home every morning to have a sink and everything, at least like in a hotel, I can do my whole process. Maybe someone else's house if like I said, I have free reign of the bathroom, but it is kind of limiting, because I can't just get up and not do my whole routine, my whole process, because otherwise it just drives me crazy all day. There's literally no other thought in my mind whatsoever. I can't read, I can't watch something, I can't eat, I cannot enjoy a conversation, I cannot do anything except fixate on my dirty mouth all day if I don't get to do my entire process exactly the way I need to do it. The other con is naturally it's very time consuming. The whole process I described probably takes about 10 minutes start to finish. That's from the initial tongue scraping to the final kind of tongue brushing. That's not counting the next brushing after I eat breakfast, which is a much quicker one. That one only takes about a minute. 10 minutes doesn't seem like a lot of time, but I guess if you multiply that by an entire year, 365 days, then you're up to 3,600 some odd minutes, and what is that, 60 hours? So we're talking about nearly a couple, 2.5 days, a few full days of doing nothing but preparing my oral hygiene process in the morning every year. And this has been going on for many, many, many years. So yeah, that's kind of the bad thing about it, is it geographically limits me, and it occupies quite a bit of time. I make use of the time. I don't just stand there. I usually am watching YouTube videos on my phone the whole time. But so yeah, it has its ups and its downs. I guess the up would be that dentistry is practically not needed for me unless it's for like a specific immediate surgery that I know exactly what I need to be done, and it's something that cannot be done at home, without a dental drill and blocking and professionals. But other than that, the cleanliness of my dental hygiene is essentially perfect. But beyond that, it's kind of annoying. I wish if I had it. People talk about what their 3 wishes what a genie would be. One I've never heard come up, but it would be mine, would be perfectly clean, no bad breath, no funky taste, totally clean mouth for the rest of my life. No need to ever brush or tongue scrape or mouthwash or floss again, ever. Just everything is fresh and perfect, 24 hours a day, every day for the rest of my life. That would be my first wish if I had a genie. Second one would be probably to fix my sleep problems. Then I'd probably go for the classic $1 billion. But yeah, so that's my adventures with extreme quasi-debilitating OCD when it comes to oral hygiene. If you don't have that problem, I wouldn't recommend it. It's not fun. I wish I could not be this way, but it's just the way it's just the way I am. But it has its upsides and plenty of downsides too. And now that I've talked for several minutes, I'm gonna go swish around some mouthwash because unfortunately I got to.